This was my 9th dream. What shall come of it? This dream too shall not have its fulfillment till the future. For in days to come kings shall grow unrighteous. They shall rule after their own will and desires, and shall not execute judgment according to righteousness. These kings shall hunger after riches and become fat on bribes. They shall not show mercy, love and compassion toward their people, but be fierce and cruel, amassing wealth by crushing their subjects like sugar canes in a mill and by taxing them even to the uttermost small coin. Unable to pay the oppressive tax, the people shall fly from village and town and the like, and take refuge upon the borders of the realm. The heart of the land shall be a wilderness, while the borders shall teem with people, even as the water was muddy in the middle of the pool and clear at the margin. However, you have nothing to fear from that. Tell me your 10th dream. I think, sir, I saw rice boiling in a pot without getting done. By not getting done, I mean that it looked as though it were sharply marked off and kept apart, so that the cooking went on in 3 distinct stages. For part was wet, part hard and raw, and part just cooked to a nicety. This was my 10th dream. What shall come of it? This dream too shall not have its fulfillment till the future. For in days to come kings shall grow unrighteous. The people surrounding the kings shall grow unrighteous too, as also shall brahmins and householders, townsmen and countryfolk. Yes, all people alike shall grow unrighteous, not excepting even sages and brahmins. Next, their very guardian deities, the spirits to whom they offer sacrifice, the spirits of the trees, and the spirits of the air shall become unrighteous also. The very winds that blow over the realms of these unrighteous kings shall grow cruel and lawless. They shall shake the mansions of the skies and by that kindle the anger of the spirits that dwell there. So that they will not suffer rain to fall, or if it does rain, it shall not fall on all the kingdom at once, nor shall the kindly shower fall on all tilled or sown lands alike to help them in their need. And, as in the kingdom at large, so in each several district and village and over each separate pool or lake, the rain shall not fall at one and the same time on its whole expanse. If it rain on the upper part, it shall not rain upon the lower. Here the crops shall be spoiled by a heavy downpour, there wither for very drought, and here again thrive at a fast pace with kindly showers to water them. So the crops sown within the confines of a single kingdom like the rice in the one pot shall have no uniform character. However, you have nothing to fear from that. Tell me your 11th dream. I think, sir, I saw sour buttermilk bartered for precious sandalwood, worth pieces of money. This was my 11th dream. What shall come of it? This dream too shall not have its fulfillment till the future in the days when my teaching is waning. For in days to come many greedy and shameless brethren shall arise, who for their belly's sake shall preach the very words in which I inveigh against greed. Because they have deserted by reason of their belly and have taken their stand on the side of those in other sects, they shall fail to make their preaching lead up to nirvana. No, their only thought, as they preach, shall be by fine words and sweet voices to induce men to give them costly dress and the like, and to be minded to give such gifts. Others again seated in the highways, at the street corners, at the doors of kings' palaces, and so on, shall stoop to preach for money, yes, for mere coined kahapanas, half-kahapanas, padas, or masakas. And as they thus barter away for food or dress or for kahapanas and half-kahapanas my teaching the worth of which is nirvana, they shall be even as those who bartered away for sour buttermilk precious sandalwood worth pieces. However, you have nothing to fear from that. Tell me your 12th dream. I think, sir, I saw empty pumpkins sinking in the water. What shall come of it? This dream also shall not have its fulfillment till the future, in the days of unrighteous kings, when the world is perverted. For in those days shall kings show favor not to the scions of the nobility, but to the low-born only. And these latter shall become great lords, while the nobles sink into poverty. Alike in the royal presence, in the palace gates, in the council chamber, and in the courts of justice, the words of the low-born alone shall be stablished, as though they had sunk down till they rested on the bottom. So too in the assemblies of the brotherhood, in the greater and lesser gatherings, And in inquiries regarding bowls, robes, lodging, and the like, the advice only of the wicked and the nasty shall be considered to have exceptional power, not that of the modest brethren. Thus everywhere it shall be as when the empty pumpkins sank. However, you have nothing to fear from that. Tell me your 13th dream. On this the king said, I think, sir, I saw huge blocks of solid rock, as big as houses, floating like ships upon the waters. What shall come of it? This dream also shall not have its fulfillment before such times as those of which I have spoken. For in those days unrighteous kings shall show honor to the low-born, who shall become great lords, while the nobles sink into poverty. Not to the nobles, but to those risen fast by wrongdoing alone shall respect be paid. In the royal presence, in the council chamber, or in the courts of justice, the words of the nobles learned in the law. And it is they whom the solid rocks typify. Shall drift idly by, and not sink deep into the hearts of men. When they speak those risen fast by wrongdoing, shall merely laugh them to contempt, saying, What is this these fellows are saying? So too in the assemblies of the brethren, as aforesaid, men shall not deem worthy of respect the excellent among the brethren. The words of such shall not sink deep, but drift idly by, even as when the rocks floated upon the waters. However, you have nothing to fear from that. Tell me your 14th dream. I think, sir, I saw tiny frogs, no bigger than minute flower buds, swiftly pursuing huge black snakes, chopping them up like so many lotus stalks and gobbling them up. What shall come of this? This dream too shall not have its fulfillment till those days to come such as those of which I have spoken, when the world is decaying. For then shall men's passions be so strong, and their lusts so hot, that they shall be the captives of the very youngest of their wives for the time being, at whose sole disposal shall be slaves and hired servants, oxen, buffaloes, and all cattle, gold and silver, and everything that is in the house. Should the poor husband ask where the money or a robe is, at once he shall be told that it is where it is, that he should mind his own business, and not be so inquisitive as to what is, or is not, in her house. And with that in many ways the wives with abuse and provoking taunts shall establish their dominion over their husbands, as over slaves and bond-servants. Thus shall it be like as when the tiny frogs, no bigger than minute flower buds, gobbled up the big black snakes. However, you have nothing to fear from that. Tell me your 15th dream. I think, sir, I saw a village crow, in which lived the whole of the 10 vices, escorted by a group of attendants of those birds which, because of their golden sheen, are called royal golden ducks. What shall come of it? This dream too shall not have its fulfillment till the future, till the reign of weakling kings. In days to come kings shall arise who shall know nothing about elephants or other arts, and shall be cowards in the field. Fearing to be removed and separated from their royal estate, they shall raise to power not their equals but their footmen, bath attendants, barbers, and such like. Thus, shut out from royal favor and unable to support themselves, the nobles shall be reduced to dancing attendants on those risen fast by wrongdoing, as when the crow had royal golden ducks for a group of attendants. However, you have nothing to fear from that. Tell me your 16th dream. In past, sir, it always used to be panthers that preyed on goats. But I think I saw goats chasing panthers and devouring them munch, munch, munch. While at bare sight of the goats afar off, terror-stricken wolves fled quaking with fear and hid themselves in their retreats in the thick vegetation. Such was my dream. What shall come of it? This dream too shall not have its fulfillment till the future, till the reign of unrighteous kings. In those days the low-born shall be raised to lordship and be made royal favorites, while the nobles shall sink into obscurity and distress. Gaining influence in the courts of law because of their favor with the king, these risen fast by wrongdoing shall claim the ancestral estates, the dress, and all the property of the old nobility. And when these latter plead their rights before the courts, then shall the king's favorite men have them beaten with sticks and taken by the throat and rebuked with words of contempt, such as, "Know your place, fools! What? Do you debate with us? The king shall know of your insolence, and we will have your hands and feet chopped off and other corrective supplied. On this the terrified nobles shall affirm that their own belongings really belong to the arrogant those who risen fast by wrongdoing, and will tell the favorites to accept them. And they shall move them home and there cower in an agony of fear. Also, evil brethren shall harass at will good and worthy brethren, till these latter, finding none to help them, shall flee to the jungle. And this oppression of the nobles and of the good brethren by the low-born and by the evil brethren, shall be like the scaring of wolves by goats. However, you have nothing to fear from that. For this dream too has reference to future times only. It was not truth, it was not love for you, that prompted the Brahmins to prophesy as they did. No, it was greed of gain, and the insight that is bred of desire of possession, that shaped all their self-seeking utterances. Thus did the Master explain the import of these 16 great dreams, adding, "You, sire, are not the first to have these dreams. They were dreamed by kings of past days also. And, then as now, the Brahmins found in them a pretext for sacrifices. Upon which, at the instance of the wise and good, the Bodhisattva was consulted, and the dreams were explained by them of old time in just the same manner as they have now been explained." And so saying, at the king's request, he told this story of the past. Once upon a time when Brahmadatta was reigning in Benares, the Bodhisattva was born a Brahmin in the north country. When he came to years of discretion he renounced the world for a hermit's life. He won the higher knowledges and the attainments, and lived in the Himalaya country in the bliss that comes from insight. In those days, in just the same manner, Brahmadatta dreamed these dreams at Benares, and inquired of the Brahmins concerning them. And the Brahmins, then as now, set to work at sacrifices. Amongst them was a young Brahmin of learning and wisdom, a pupil of the king's priest, who addressed his master thus: "Master, you have taught me the 3 Vedas. Is there not in that a text that says the killing of one creature gives not life to another? My son, this means money to us, a great deal of money. You only seem anxious to spare the king's treasury." "Do as you will, master," said the young Brahmin. "As for me, to what end shall I wait longer here with you?" And so saying, he left him, and took himself to the royal garden. That same day the Bodhisattva, knowing all this, thought to himself, "If I visit today the domain of men, I shall work for the deliverance of a great number of people from their bondage." So, passing through the air, he descended in the royal garden and seated himself, radiant as a statue of gold, upon the ceremonial stone. The young Brahmin came near and with due reverence seated himself by the Bodhisattva in all friendliness. Sweet talk passed. And the Bodhisattva asked whether the young Brahmin thought the king ruled righteously. "Sir," answered the young man, "the king is righteous himself. But the Brahmins make him side with evil." Being consulted by the king as to 16 dreams which he had dreamed, the Brahmins clutched at the opportunity for sacrifices and set to work on that. "Oh, sir, would it not be a good thing that you should offer to make known to the king the real import of his dreams and so deliver great numbers of creatures from their dread?" "But, my son, I do not know the king, nor he me. Still, if he should come here and ask me, I will tell him." "I will bring the king, sir," said the young Brahmin. "If you will only be so good as to wait here a minute till I come back." And having gained the Bodhisattva's consent, he went before the king, and said that there had descended in the royal garden an air-travelling ascetic, who said he would explain the king's dreams. Would not his majesty tell them to this ascetic? When the king heard this, he went at once to the garden with a large group of attendants. Saluting the ascetic, he sat down by the holy man's side, and asked whether it was true that he knew what would come of his dreams. "Certainly, sire," said the Bodhisattva. "But first let me hear the dreams as you dreamed them." "Readily, sir," answered the king. And he began as follows. "Bulls first, and trees, and cows, and calves. Horse, dish, she-jackal, waterpot. A pond, raw rice and sandalwood. And gourds that sank, and stones that swam. And so on, ending up with. And wolves in panic fear of goats. And His Majesty went on to tell his dreams in just the same manner as that in which King Pasenadi had described them. "Enough," said the great being. "You have nothing to fear or dread from all this." Having thus reassured the king, and having freed a great number of people from bondage, the Bodhisattva again took up his position in mid-air, from where he encouraged the king and established him in the 5 commandments, ending with these words: "From now on, O king, join not with the brahmins in slaughtering animals for sacrifice." His teaching ended, the Bodhisattva passed straight through the air to his own dwelling. And the king, remaining firm in the teaching he had heard, passed away after a life of almsgiving and other good works to fare according to his deeds. His lesson ended, the master said, "You have nothing to fear from these dreams. Away with the sacrifice." Having had the sacrifice removed, and having saved the lives of a lot of creatures, he explained the relation and identified the birth by saying, "Ananda was the king of those days, Sariputra the young Brahmin, and I the ascetic." Pali note. But after the passing of the Lord Buddha, the editors of the Great Redaction put the 3 first lines into the commentary, and making the lines from and gourds that sank into one stanza, put the whole story into the first book.